Hey there, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of NetCLIX and Chill. My name's Jimmy.
And I'm Daniel.
And today we're going to be going over some information that has come out recently through Heroclix, such as the brand new set that's coming out, and with that, the new rules. And then we're going to be trying a new format. Usually we talk about events that we've gone to and how those games played out. In order to kind of touch some other subjects in the beginning of the video, we're going to talk about several things first, and then we're going to come back to that so that we can do a little bit more explanation without taking up the front half of the video with explanation of games. That way, you know, more diverse audiences is interested.
Yeah, because we don't want to be boring.
You know.
It's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
All right, so to kick it off, I'm pretty sure everyone knows we're getting new rules for Heroclix soon. They've talked about it for years, and slowly they've been trickling information out, and I think we've got a lot of good information now. But at San Diego Comic-Con, the booth that they had set up had, I don't know if it was the starter, just the box for the starter from the new Thor set, but it had on the box new rules. So like we're getting the new rules in that set. That's confirmed now. That set is due to be released in October to early November. They haven't given us a set date yet, but they did say the Thor set that's coming out.
I thought it was released in August.
No, because they said they won't release the new rules until after the next World event, which is the one in Atlanta in October.
Huh. Okay.
But it's weird that we're already getting leaks and spoilers now.
Well, I know Heroclix.com said it would be released in August. I don't know how their timeline is with rules.
Yeah, well, the rules are supposed to be coming with
I
the new
know.
set.
That's.
Maybe they'll release the rules. They won't enforce them till after the World's
I thought
event.
it was the previous World's event that they were talking about.
No, it's the one in Georgia. I'm pretty sure.
One of us is right.
So
I think it's August. I actually just read it a few seconds ago.
Well,
who knows?
I'm a little bit more involved than you.
Necka's flaky.
Who knows? If anyone does know, let us know. You know.
Let us know that it's August.
Or not.
It's coming out this month.
Either way.
Be excited.
With the new set, we're getting new rules wording. They're not changing a ton. The biggest change, I think, are the outwit changes, which have we talked about those yet? I think we have. And then hypersonic super strength, I think we also talked about previously.
Yeah.
So those are the two biggest changes I've noticed. And energy explosion turning into range quake, which is kind of lame.
Yeah.
I like how it was.
Energy explosion was pretty busted, but they just made it almost useless.
It wasn't even that busted because they have to make characters that can abuse it, and they really didn't.
Yeah, because it's like certain characters, you're like, this guy's really good with energy explosion, and then another one's like, oh, I have one, maybe 2 bolts, and then you're like, eh. Now it just goes down to like everybody has 2 bolts, and you don't even do your printed damage. Like,
yeah,
that's dumb.
And really, I don't think it needs change, because if it was like a broken and exploitable, you would see that at top level, but you don't. You see Jakeem and formerly Tim Tank and all of that.
Broken and more broken, I think. Stages of broken.
Okay.
I think I would have said
off the top of your head, who abuses energy explosion?
Green Arrow, the new Ray. If you get energy explosion on him with a Hulkbuster right arm, there is
so you're at 135 points for a one-trick pony.
Is real good. He's not a one-trick pony. He's pretty good. He's a good character.
He's good at 25 points.
And apparently at 130. So there is a point when energy explosion becomes almost unbearable, especially if you're running like a mastermind team or something that like clutters small characters. Try not to cluster people. That's a rule of Heroclix. But if it happens, they could they could tear your bum up. But
yeah, like if you're playing that Hydra team or police department,
you got a bunch of enhancement. If you're not running something like that, who really cares? And then also, it has to be on a very specific person for it to actually work well.
And the map has to allow you to draw line of fire to that whole grouping. So like,
yeah, they basically made it useless. It was good, now it's useless. Yeah. And the reason for that is it wouldn't have been useless in its current form 3 or 4 years ago, before they were like throwing out defensive powers to everybody and their mother. You're like, oh, I'm a 40-point character. I have a 19 defense and invulnerability. The only character that used to have crap like that was Molly Hayes from Hammer of Thor, and that was a legend. Now it's just like, oh
now
whatever.
She's weak by like current standards.
Yeah, because she doesn't have a move and attack power and a 4 base damage at 50 points. Like, ooh, power creep.
And that's what I noticed from the most recent set, the Elseworlds, is there's a lot of characters below 100 points that have a 4 printed damage. And before that was like your Chase Golden Age Deadpool. He has a 4 damage at 75 points, but he's like very limited. Now you've got like Wonder Woman with Invincible, 4 damage, running around just winning.
And it seemed like there were only a few people that came out in sets like Joker's Wild that had stats like that. You had like the ridiculous 25-point Atom. You had Spectre, who had like a 19 defense, but not great attack values. You just really couldn't hit him.
Even that Atom, he got his damage from Close Combat Expert, which you can outwit.
But the potential for damage output on such a weak
But
character?
just a 4 printed damage on like a 60-point character, now you have to waste 1 to 2 perplexes to not just take a big hit, which that means you're not using it on their tent pole, which means you're going to take a big hit anyway. So it just makes the secondary attackers and the little guys like just abusable.
Yeah, and I remember whenever the really good character at 84 points, Wonder Woman, who had like 2 clicks where she was actually usable, and then she started dropping subpar. I think she was from the DC 75th series, and she has the Justice League International keyword, and that's why I was using her all the time. But she had a 4 base damage and like a 9 or a 10 attack with super strength, so like that was super great. But you hit her once and she's knocked out of there. Now you got characters in that swinging range for about 60 points. Like, oh, that's crazy.
You reminded me, by the way, of an old school, it's 97 points I think, the old Fire Lord that had a 13 attack, energy explosion, 8 range, but he only had 1 bolt. But he had an 18 defense with barrier, like 10 clicks, and range combat expert up top with a 3 damage base with a like 13 attack.
But when he gets
hit, you hit him and he goes down to like a 7 attack, a 14 defense.
Yeah, but then it was funny. I remember somebody was running him with Trick Shot. They took a map that had a conveyor belt. It was like a garbage dump. So it had a strip of hindering all the way down the center. People would run up to it, and this is before like ignores movement and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Ignores hindering on movement and all that.
This is old.
Yeah. So they would run to the middle, they would get stuck on that conveyor belt, and it was just like a firing range. Like Firestorm's just back there, just poof, poof, just nuking them. And if you ever managed to hit him, ever, because Trick Shot, you could ignore characters on line of fire, and you could ignore stealth because you're ignoring hindering terrain on line of fire. He would defend his character with like a bubble of other people. If you could ever manage to hit him, his defense dropped, and then he had people with support who would just be like, oh, I need a roll of 4, and then I'm just going to support him back to full health, and then he's just going to keep killing you. I remember when that was the busted thing. That was so crazy.
Those were the days. I actually just picked up an Icons Veteran Superman 2 because I saw the store I went to had one. And
like sitting in the thing for sale?
Yes.
How much was it?
I got it for $3. It's like a $20 or $30 piece.
Is it still?
Yeah, I think so. That's what one of the guys said. I think that's worth $20, and the guy was like, "Well, I like you. How's $3.50 sound?" And I was like, "Okay." So
I pulled that character in the very first booster of Icons I ever pulled. It was actually the first booster. I bought 2 boosters when I first started the game. I was looking for Heroscape because I saw commercials all over the place about it, and I couldn't find that stupid game anywhere. Glad I didn't play it because then I'm going out of print very quickly. But I got 2 boosters of Icons, and out of one of them I pulled the unique Lex Luthor in his super suit, and then the other one I pulled Icons Veteran Superman, who at the time was like a $35 figure and like the best figure in the game.
Yeah, I think like literally everyone's heard about him now. Like even like people will hear about it and look at his dials like, oh, that's not bad because he only got a 5 range with hypersonic, and then you explain to them that once upon a time you didn't cut range in half when you use hypersonic. Well, even
cut in half, it's a 6. He has a 12 range base.
Yeah,
he has a 12 movement speed.
Oh, he has a 12. I thought it was a 10.
He has a 12 movement speed with hypersonic, and he has a 12 range because you have a 24 space board. And originally, if it was like a clear line of fire map, he could go from his starting zone run, shoot somebody in your starting zone if you're both starting at the wall, and then still move 2 extra spaces afterward.
They literally created first turn immunity because of him. That wasn't enough, so then they changed hypersonic to having your range.
Yeah,
and he was still dominant for years.
He's pretty crazy. People got angry when around him, and they should have.
Yeah.
But he's like 251 points, and he didn't have Indomitable because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So you push him into oblivion, and he's one of those characters that has 11 clicks. He dies on the 12th one, and his values suck.
His stats just...
Which was normal back then,
yeah.
So there was no reason to not play him.
That was kind of how the game worked.
Yeah. Enough about all that, old dial stuff, yeah. Because none of that stuff is applicable anymore.
Dial design now is completely different. You get the new green arrow's got 5 clicks. You get the split point dials that'll be 7 clicks top, or you'll get 3 clicks for half points, stuff like that. Like, you have a lot more per click, but you have just less clicks in general.
Yeah. Except randomly, they're just like, we're going to talk about the Wonder Woman invisible plane soon, and I don't know what crack they were smoking, but they completely changed the output for like vehicles and stuff like that. Because they're like, 5 to 6 is going to be average, maybe 8 if you're an expensive character for number of clicks. Whenever they start putting out a vehicle, they're like, let's make it about 90 to 100 points. That thing's going to have 18 to 24 clicks. Like,
yeah.
What? And they're not subpar clicks, and you have more versatility because they're usually pretty quick. They usually have some type of range value, and you have the vehicle rules that allow you to swap out your stats or powers with the driver of the vehicle. So you're just like, what the frick are you guys doing? Like, all of a sudden these things are just like, okay, these are the most overpowered things. I don't know if they do it because they have such a big... base, so they're like, oh, it's going to be harder to maneuver, it's going to be easier to hit, so we're going to make it a little bit tougher so that somebody is able to get the points whenever it's a big target. But the thing is, having a giant cushion for all that damage is still very effective for those points, even if it never really gets to swing. Especially when you use it how vehicles are intended as a just transport. So you can have the pilot jump in and get a really good pilot, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and then carry people as their passengers, and you use that massive speed to just get in the way, put the vehicle in front so they can't even see your dudes. Okay, they hit the vehicle, I don't care, I move it out of my way and go kill you. Right. Like, vehicles add a very different strategy, and I think last time we talked, I can't remember if it was last time or if it was the tournament after our last podcast, but I fought against a Punisher van, and it was just, if you miss one attack, it's way over, it's like worth way more than its points, because if you do miss that attack, that's 5-6 clicks you didn't deal to it. So the next guy, when he does hit it, okay, the vehicle really doesn't care. And it was funny, in my mind I was like, well, it's weird though, because they're so good, but you never see vehicles in competitive lists. And then I was like, Quinjet's been like a world winner for the past 2 years. Yeah, it literally just rotated out. So I don't know. That's the only reason it's not still winning. Yeah, my brain was not correct. Yeah. So we were thinking, getting super off topic here, we will be talking about the invisible plane a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to touch a little bit on some of the dials that have been shown from the new set, the Mighty Thor, and that is the set that is coming out in August. Or whenever. Yeah, so it's probably the next set. I know we got a Harley Quinn set coming up too. And the thing is, NECA does not take 3 or 4 months between sets. They pump them out like, Mormon. They've got 2 months between sets, and they're just popping them things out. What does that even mean? What do you mean? Like a Mormon? Yeah. They have lots of kids. Okay. You could have said like bunny rabbits or something. Like a bunny rabbit Mormon. So... I'm sorry to everybody in the internet right now. So there are about 12 leaked dials right now, 12 to 14. 12 in the unit section on the realms. There might be 1 or 2 more that hasn't hit yet, but they've been staying on top of it. So yeah. So there are 3 that we specifically wanted to focus on. 1, just because it's the first super rare that we've seen, that's Thunderstrike. It's actually a chase that we've seen. It's Thunderstrike. And then I also wanted to talk about Loki from the starter set. And then you're going to go ahead and talk about Hulk from the starter set. Yeah. Before we get onto the starter, let's talk about Thunderstrike. Yeah. So he actually looks really neat, This is a rendition of the character Eric Masterson, and he's basically like a Thor wannabe. He starts out, he's 115 points. Looking at this on my phone, so
yeah.
Sorry for that.
Is that a 19 defense impervious for 115?
And indomitable. So 115 points, Avengers ability. And then he has the Asgardian and Avengers keyword, so he has that super versatile Avengers keyword. You can literally make a team out of any characters in the Marvel Universe.
Grab your Hydra cap and you're set.
Yeah.
Because now he's also Hydra and has a Hydra team ability.
Yes.
And if you want to get silly, you add Agent H, and now he's also got the Hydra team ability, Shield team ability, that one.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the 19 defense chase for 115 points. What's he do?
Yeah, so he starts out with, he has flight. His first 3 clicks he has charge with a 9 speed, so he's a little slow, but, you know, moving 5 spaces. He starts out with an 11 attack with super strength, so even after the rules change, he's still going to be a heavy hitter. Starts off with a 4 damage on his first 2 clicks and a 19 defense with impervious. On his second click, he still has a 19 defense now with invulnerability, and then he drops down to an 18 for the 3 clicks in the middle of his dial. Late dial, he gets sidestep, and then his very last click, he doesn't have any movement power, but the whole last half of his dial, he has close combat expert with a 3 damage.
He's got 5 damage potential on every click in his dial, and he's got 7 clicks.
He does have a 5 range, so even after he gets knocked into that area where he's got sidestep or no power, he would still be a threat from range. But at the beginning of the dial, you're really going to be trying to get into close combat, and then if you can stay in close combat even after he loses charge, you can really take advantage of that close combat expert. He gets down to a 9 and 10 attack, so you can bring up your damage, or he has a 3 damage. Sorry, you can bring up his attack to, you know, help you hit a little better. His damage, though, is a 3, so you can bring it up to a 4 or a 5, changing your attack as well if you need to. But he starts out with Wielder of Thunderstrike as a trait, and that means that he has the Thunderstrike item equipped. That gives you Force Blast, and if every time you knock back a character at least 1 space, you get to heal the character who is equipped with the object by 1 click.
It also gives Leap Climb.
Yeah, so...
which is nice.
Yeah. He's got flight, so it doesn't really help him, but somebody else,
Leap Climb does let you attack different elevations. If they're on the rim of elevated and you're on the base.
I didn't realize that.
So... most people
It also lets you break away for free, which...
No, it's +2 now. But yeah, it's still bonus to breakaway.
Does that stack with any type of other power?
No. So the ones you roll consistently will still be 1s.
So it will still help him. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'm the old school here. So he's also got a trait called Sacrifice Thunderstrike to destroy the Blood Axe. I don't know what that's referring to. But it says when the character is KO'd, you can choose any equipment object that started the game on your force and one that started the game on the opposing force. So of course you'll be picking your own Thunderstrike in most cases unless you have a bunch of objects. And then if you do, remove both objects from the game, even if they are equipped. So you can de-equip an opposing character if they're just wreaking havoc with something they chose.
What is the wording? Is it object or an equipment?
Choose an equipment object.
An equipment object. Okay, so it doesn't get around Brainiac and Possessors because they're just equipped entities. They're
it also
not
doesn't
objects.
get around relics.
Yeah. Well, relics I think are going to be errated to objects. I don't know.
Maybe.
But getting to remove stuff is always good.
The power that I love about this guy, though, is on his first 3 clicks, he has a white damage power called The World Still Needs Heroes. He has Empower, Enhancement, and each time a friendly character attacks while having their damage value modified by one of these powers, modify Thunderstrike's attack by +1 this turn. So, if you have them clustered in a little group of Avengers...
or Hydra or Shield.
Or whatever the poop happens.
Whose team abilities also support that.
Yeah.
So I was making a joke, but it's actually really good.
It could be really good. He would also increase his attack value for the turn every time.
If you were running, like, I don't know, a Hydra themed team with Cap, who gives everyone the Hydra team ability, okay, and they can draw a line of fire to that defense, they take enhancement, and they also can shield team ability for bigger range because of all the shenanigans. But anyways, you get enhancement, you get bonus damage, you shoot the dude, he's got lower defense because of Hydra team ability. This guy gets bonus attack, so you could roll 3 both of them and have a 6-point swing in stats by the time he gets to attack. Plus, most Hydra and shield pieces have some form of enhancement themselves, so like you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So
very true.
And you can get up to what, a 14 attack top dial, 7 damage if you roll a 3 it. That's pretty good.
That is very good. I am glad that they started the higher end character reveals with him, because I think that he's very solid.
But not busted.
Yeah, I really hate whenever they just they're just like, oh, here's our first super rare, or here's our first chase, and they just suck. You're like, I really can't imagine using this guy realistically. This guy's usable in theme teams. His dial that's been revealed is really cool. His sculpt also looks really neat. So I think he's an all-around very useful character, and that kind of makes me excited for the set, even though I'm not really like a Marvel character fan. I think that he looks really cool as far as playability.
Yeah, and he seems reasonably costed. Like, I don't think you're going to get more than 115 to 130-ish points out of him, but when you build a team with him in mind, you'll have a very solid team.
And I think it's really nice that he plays as a close combat attack character who looks like he could really hold his own, while also offering some support for his team in the effect of taking out objects if he dies, which is neat. I don't know that that'll be like super useful a lot of the time.
It depends on what the rest of the set brings us.
But it's kind of like, yeah, it's like a Swiss Army knife. You know, like you don't really know what's going to come. It's a good thing to have in your back pocket.
Never complain about options.
Right. And then I love Empower, and Enhancement's pretty good, but I usually load up on close combat characters, so Empower usually gets a lot of mileage on my teams.
Yeah. Plus with Charge and Empower, like, you can charge into position, hit someone, and then lend the Empower out after that. So
yeah,
he's got a good power set. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to talk about the Hulk now?
Nah, you talk about Loki, because I'm going to use the Hulk to transition into the invisible plane.
Good plan. So now you're just going to have a long-winded Jim here. Yep. So the other character
he's better at the talking thing anyway.
No.
So.
What I wanted to talk about next is, from the starter set, Loki. He's number 102 of the set. And by the way, Thunderstrike, I like to reference numbers here. So number 62 from the set is Thunderstrike, the chase that we were just talking about.
And his item is, I can't read, I'm blind.
It's Thunderstrike. It is S010. And apparently that is going to be equipped with him whenever you pull him in a booster.
Yeah, when you pull him, you get that weapon. There's also a common mace that is like the generic version of the Thunderstrike object. That comes in the super boosters.
And that is number S018 for anybody who cares. So this Loki, I am imagining him being very great when he comes out. His trait really makes him. So first we're going to go over his values real quick.
That dial is pretty darn good, even without the trait.
I mean,
like the trait does totally put him over the top. But
honestly, like 100 points, I would say this guy is usable without his trait. His trait just makes him nuts. So he's got the Mystics team ability, which is already pretty great whenever you put it on him, on anybody really. But I really like putting Mystics and damage reducers together. This guy doesn't have that situation, but he's still incredibly difficult to hit. So he starts out with an 8 movement with phasing teleport. And then he's got an 11 attack with Psychic Blast, a 17 defense with Super Senses, and a 3 damage with Shape Change. He does not have Indomitable, so he can't avoid pushing damage, but as I continue explaining, you probably won't care about that much. He's got an 8 range with 2 bolts, and then as he goes down the dial, he retains a high attack value. He goes down to a 10, and then he goes back up to an 11 at the end of his dial. He retains between a 17 to 16 defense, so in this age of Heroclix, he's real easy to hit as far as numbers, but not easy to hit as far as powers, because
I wouldn't even say real easy, I'd say average.
He's got a 17 to a 16.
I thought it went 18. Oh, it's 16. Okay, yeah, never mind.
11 attacks are pretty standard now. Rolling at anything under a 7 is real easy if you've got any type of luck on your side.
Yeah.
3 damage is like, but the whole time he's got either Pulse Wave or Psychic Blast, so that 3 damage is going to stick, no matter who you're hitting. So that's still got great potential, even though he doesn't have the best damage value.
An 8 range Pulse Wave is a very comfortable range. I like, because then you can get good positioning for single target Pulse Waves, which is just awesome.
Yeah, because you just rip right through them.
Because it's a long enough range to be a threat, but not so long that you're going to just blanket hit everyone all the time.
Yeah. his movement values will restrict your versatility as far as getting into attack locations and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why you get TK.
Yeah. But, like, still, you're going to need a plan around that. So if you're using this guy as, like, a primary heavy hitter, you're going to need to do a little bit of work as far as mobility, and you can't TK him at the beginning of his dial. The reason is, we'll explain that a little bit.
Dang it.
So he starts out with phasing teleport with an 8 movement. He moves into leap climb, goes back to phasing teleport for a click, and then last click back to leap climb. During that time, his defense power swaps between super senses at the beginning to mastermind, and then a little bit of super senses again, and then mastermind at the end. So he kind of just like jumps back and forth in what he's doing. The thing that makes him great, and it's the only white special power he has, is a trait called Loki's Treachery Goes On. Sorry, Loki's Treachery Goes On. Sorry, didn't say that well. At the beginning of the game, give Loki an illusion token. When he would be KO'd, remove the illusion token and turn him to click 1 instead. If he has an illusion token, so at the beginning of the game, he can use Colossal Stamina and cannot be healed. Sorry, he's not Colossal, he just has Colossal Stamina.
Yeah. So you can do whatever you want with him.
Yeah.
You can throw him forward, get him in the middle of everything.
And push him for days. For some reason, when I first read that, I thought he had the colossal like damage symbol. Oh. So he was huge, basically. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, so get a little bit of support around him, get him in someone's face, and they've got 12 clicks with mystics that they have to deal with.
And I was thinking he had like the mastermind ability or something. You can give him equipment, though. So giving this guy something like freaking...
entity.
Right, and that's what I was thinking, equipping like Brainiac or something. And then you give him that defensive power with that stupid dial, and he also gets regeneration at the end of his dial because of Brainiac as well. So
after you lose the...
Because he can't be healed the first time. Yeah. But it still lengthens his dial a little bit, makes him freaking horrible to deal with.
You give him Impervious, so you have the Evil 3.
And you also, if you really need it, it gives you that sidestep at the beginning of your dial. Sidestep, I used to underestimate. I was like, who wants to move 2 stages?
Sidestep's amazing.
If you've got 2 action tokens, you can still move. So that gives you a lot of potential to tie somebody up or get away from someone. Or you could be like, hey, I have an 8 range in the case of this guy. You really have to be pretty far away to be safe from him.
Because your threat range becomes a 10.
Right, and you have the ability to kind of like work your way around some corners if they're trying to be sneaky and hide a little bit. The sidestep's ability to get somebody into perfect position was really emphasized with me whenever I was playing against Juggernaut from the X-Men set.
When I was first getting back into the game.
He's got sidestep, and then he can run in a straight line in any direction. Moving 2 spaces basically makes you line up in a straight line anywhere within your threat range. So like somebody could hide anywhere, and that 2 spaces seems to make all the difference. It's very powerful. Yeah. So if you were able to give this character the sidestep that would be given by Brainiac, it gives him a lot more mobility and threat, which I think would be great.
Plus the +1 damage. Suddenly your Psychic Blast and Pulse Wave's hitting for 4.
And also, he's got Shape Change, he's got Super Senses, and Brainiac would give him Impervious. That's 3 rolls to see if you freaking even take damage. And then after that, you have to decide, like, hey, you just killed me. Guess what? I'm back at the beginning.
The new Green Arrow who says you can't use defense powers, that gets around to Super Senses. That's it. He still gets the Shape Change, and he still gets the Impervious, because the Impervious isn't showing on a dial.
Yep.
So, like, yeah, that Green Arrow, and if Green Arrow snipes him for 6, great, I remove a token. Who cares?
I don't think I ever mentioned it. He's 100 points. He's on. Did I mention that before?
I don't know if you did.
He's freaking 100 points.
So you put Brainiac on him, you're at 125.
He is a freaking monster tent pole here. Like, that is ridiculous.
I wouldn't go that far because, like, Jakeem still exists.
Well, okay.
But
we can't put the bar at Jakeem.
If you want to beat the meta, you got to.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it'd be great to play.
But I am still looking forward to getting him on the table. I'm definitely buying the starter set. That Loki alone sold it for me. Did you want to say anything else about Loki? Because I also got to talk about this whole...
Well, the one other thing was I'm a little bit sad about his keywords. It makes sense because he's freaking Loki. He's got Asgardian and Mystical. Neither of those I'm super interested in. I might use Asgardian. I know a lot of people are interested in Mystical.
I love Mystical.
I know a guy who only collects characters that have the Mystical team ability. So
is that
the Mystic's team ability, Carl.
Yeah, Carl.
So
I almost said Charles.
Yeah, I know he will be psyched for this character.
Absolutely.
Because this guy is like golden within his realm of characters that he collects. So that'll be great.
It's freaking Loki. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a version of Loki that I was like, man, that guy is unstoppable. And Loki really should be. The only one that I've ever been like, oh wow, that Loki, he's really good, is the Loki Thor duo piece. And that's been a real long time.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing about this Loki and Brainiac is Brainiac gets the white power where you can take the action tokens off of him.
In the middle of the dial.
So you can like straight up just pretty much push all the way there with Colossal Stamina, and then when you get there, just pick the white power and be like, okay, I mean, I'll keep taking damage if you want, or I can just take action tokens off, like, whatever. Well, actually, I guess it doesn't matter since he doesn't have willpower indomitable, so you have to get him down to 0. Never mind. There might be shenanigans there.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about this Hulk next.
Okay.
I'm ready to talk about the Hulk.
This Hulk's pretty great.
This Hulk, he does make me happy. Alright, so, he's 100 points for 50 points. I'll talk about the 100 points briefly, because
it sounded like you said he's 100 points for 50 points.
Or 50.
Or 50 points. He's 100 points for 50 points. So like,
I mean, you'll only ever play him at 50 points, so sure. Top dial at 100 points, he's got 6 speed, 9 attack, 17 defense, 3 damage, leap climb, super strength, invincible. Standard Hulk thing, starts kind of weak. It's kind of an old school Hulk dial where it gets stronger the more damage he takes. But they gave us
general Hulk dial.
They gave us a 50-point option where you're at the peak. So like, I guess if you want extra clicks, you can pay the 50 points, but just like don't. His only white power, similar to Loki, is a trait, Hulk Smash. When Hulk moves after action resolves, he can use Quake at no cost. It doesn't say free action because it's the new rule set. Free action's gone. It's now costed or a not costed action. So that's pretty neat. Leap climb, you move, Hulk Smash, woo, you do Hulk things. Which can... Quake has a knockback, so unless you can pin him against something, it actually might be annoying because you can't stay in base to base to hit him with your super strength or exploit weakness. But anyways, where he really shines, in my opinion, is at 50 points because he's got a 10 speed leap climb, a 12 attack super strength, an 18 defense with impervious, and 4 damage for 50 points. He's got 3 clicks, so like you hit him, he's dead. But if you don't have damage, penetrating damage, that word. If you don't have penetrating damage, he's got a 33% chance of just saying no, and if you do hit him, you better hit him for 5, because otherwise you're not going to KO him.
But the thing is, any low point character that just demands attention, most of the time
it's worth
is worth it. Because for a person who's playing something like that, if they have any strategy in mind, distracting your opponent is like crucial, and this guy has to do that. Otherwise, he will kill people.
Yeah, it forces you to use a Psychic Blast or an Outwit, which is sometimes enough. Plus, with the 10 speed, he can stay out of your range, go in, disrupt your formation, then you have to deal with him. So he causes issues. Now, one of the reasons I really like this Hulk is because little did we know Hulk is actually wonderful at driving. It's in like every comic. You just don't read Hulk comics.
Yeah.
The reason being is if you know about vehicles and vehicle rules, you can take the attack, damage, and range of its pilot. So for 50 points, you get a pilot with a 12 attack and 4 damage. And you can take super strength, but with a new nerf to hypersonic and super strength, we're not going to get into that. But that goes into the invisible plane. So the invisible plane top dial has a 14 speed with hypersonic. You put this Hulk in there, it's got a 14 speed, 12 attack, 4 damage, and you're at 145 points invested.
But just imagine this thing as far as the other characters watching this happen to themselves.
Why is there this massive Hulk floating in thin air?
And all he's doing is he's like flying forward like this, just ramming into people, and then like flying back into the sky, and just like they have no idea what's going on. He's just like squat flying through the air.
So, but to get back to, sorry to cut off that visualization, because it was kind of great.
Yeah, that was it.
But the invisible plane has 10 clicks. And for all 10 of those clicks, it can use this Hulk's top dial. So you have 10 clicks of 12 attack, 4 damage.
Yeah, but it has a 14 speed with hypersonic.
Yeah.
and a 12 attack with 4 damage, and you keep the powers of the plane, right? So you also have Precision Strike. So like the thing is, the great thing about 14 movement with hypersonic speed is you can just freaking choose who you're gonna hit. So you have the people where Super Senses is a super common power right now,
especially with the Kingdom Come pieces that have their pseudo Super Senses from their team ability.
Yeah.
Which the Kingdom Come Green Lantern is a major meta piece, and he's got a 20 defense. So,
but Precision Strike, I don't think would work on it, would it?
It does. Precision Strike says the attack cannot be evaded.
Oh, and they say they evade it.
They evade it on a 5 or 6.
Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have this thing fly around, choose who you're gonna hit, so you can just like pluck out those guys who are gonna take all the damage because they've got you know, if you only have Super Senses, you're not reducing that 4 damage. So you're just pummeling these guys hardcore for. Well, how many points? Is that 95 points?
Yeah, it's 95 and 50, so you're at 145.
For 145 points.
And you don't have to take the stats from the Hulk, so he could be piloting it, and you can keep the jet's natural 8 range. And Top Dial, it's got a 10 attack, 4 damage, so it's not as it doesn't hit as hard, and the damage drops quickly. But if you can get that, if you need to, you can surprise people with that. And if the Quinjet hits with a ranged attack, you pick one, and the character that was hit either can't be moved or replaced, can't make ranged attacks, or can't make close attacks.
But you can take his powers and still retain the powers and everything of the jet, can't you?
Yeah, but Hulk has a 0 range. So if you take Hulk's attack, you lose the 8 range. And
what if you take his powers but not his stats?
Oh, then you're taking Super Strength, and Hypersonic Super Strength don't work together anymore.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Works for like the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, but the next, and Hulk's not out.
Oh yeah, once he comes out, it's going to be over anyway.
So that kind of sucks. But
the crap.
You can, if you're, predicting what your team or your opponent's going to do, put your objects just on their side of the table, and you cover 8 squares with that base. Hypersonic up, place it on an object, hit them with it. Well, no, you still have to do a move to pick up the object. I don't know, you're not using Super Strength with this jet. Sorry. Not until...
It doesn't really make much sense anyway.
It gets sidestepped like super late.
Flying out and grabbing it.
So on the last 4 clicks, you can sidestep, grab an object, and just clobber someone with the Hulk's 12 attack and 4 damage while you're on click 8. That's a thing.
Yeah.
So either way, for 95 points, you can do that. What I really like, too, the other pilot I like is the Kingdom Come Wonder Woman. She's a lot more points than the Hulk, but she has a 13 attack with the same super strength and 4 damage, but it's Wonder Woman, which means the invisible jet gains willpower and can't have line of fire drawn to it if you're farther than 6 spaces away.
It also makes a lot more sense.
Yes. Yeah. I would much rather see Wonder Woman piloting it than the Hulk.
Much rather see her like mysteriously squat floating through the air.
Yeah. Anyways,
I don't understand why they even came up with the invisible jet.
Who
like,
knows?
Because like in real, you understand what I'm saying, right?
I totally understand.
It's like this position is just not natural to fly through the air.
And you're just like floating like above skyscrapers, just tooting along.
And like, what's the purpose of being invisible if you're not? So it's just kind of like, oh, I'm just hanging out here.
Yeah. But let me talk about this Wonder Woman a little bit.
I'm sorry.
She's got a 13 attack, 4 damage. She does have Close Combat Expert as well. So after you hypersonic in and just maul them, then you can take her Close Combat Expert and start hitting for 6 with a 13 attack. Or go to a 5 damage with a 14 attack, 4 damage with a freaking 15 attack. Stupid how good that is. And she's a Kingdom Come piece, so if the vehicle blows up or if she gets out, then you have to deal with her. She's got the Kingdom Come team ability, impervious top dial, like, she can't be outwitted. Pretty good.
She just smacks people.
So I like her as a pilot as well, but that's a lot more points. Hulk for 50 points, giving this thing 12 attack, 4 damage. All dial is amazing.
I'm just incredibly sad that they didn't give it any type of Justice League or Justice League associated keyword. The Invisible Plane only has the Amazon and vehicle keywords, so it makes sense. I'm just a little sore over it. I'm never gonna play an Amazon theme team. I would have played Justice League or Justice
Does it not,
Friends or something of that.
Can Wonder Woman make it count as a theme team still?
Something.
No.
Nope.
I like how they say it can reduce penetrating damage, but it literally like gets toughness on the end dial, and that's it. That's a nice thing that I'll never use.
Yeah. Quinjet, it just kind of wanted to slap that on there to be like, this is a Quinjet, I guess. Yeah. Like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not.
So yeah, that's the Hulk and the Invisible Plane. So do we have anything else we want to talk about? Should I talk about the 4 events that I played in since the last podcast?
Yeah.
To your 0.
I don't think that we didn't do a podcast actually.
We did the Warhammer one, was the last one.
And that was like 2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, but we posted it last week.
So we missed our deadline.
Yeah, so we suck and we apologize for that.
Yeah, we didn't even keep up with it for a solid 3 weeks.
No.
4 weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
We did it for 3.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But it's because we're both adults that work and we're married.
True.
Yeah. But anyways, so I'll brag about brag about one of the 4 events and talk about the other 3.
Yeah, I didn't go to any. Let me just describe why, so you don't think that I'm just
because he's a terrible gamer.
Schlub. Yeah, I am a terrible gamer. I didn't go because all of the local events were because of the new Elseworld set. They were like buy-ins, so you buy 2 boosters. But I know this might sound worse, and I didn't really think about it until just now, but I didn't want to go because the prize support wasn't worth the entry cost. So, like, for example, the Jet. It was buying 2 boosters, and then, you don't even know if you're going to win it, and then you go on eBay, and 2 boosters is about $25. A little bit more after tax. The Jet, buy it now with no shipping cost or anything, is $25. So I was just like, if I want it that bad, I'll buy it for sure for the same price, and I won't get a bunch of crappy Elseworld figs.
Well, you might have pulled the Green Arrow that I already have.
It's a fat chance. It's a real fat chance.
Pulled one. Yeah, I understand.
So that's why I didn't go. All of the recent events have been Elseworlds, and it really just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, and I actually don't really like the set that much. I just like beating people.
I like the set, but this guy already bought a brick and more, and pulled literally everything that was worth pulling from the set, so it felt stupid to me to just go buy some more just to get more garbage that
That's not true at all, actually. I got the brick, and I pulled Green Arrow and crap. I had to trade for Elijah Snow and for Al Jordan. Those were the 3 pieces I wanted: Green Arrow, Al Jordan, and Elijah Snow.
Well, you got him.
And I got them. So
Good job.
And the plus was going to the sealed events because I wanted to win this, and I did because I'm awesome. So since the last podcast, I played in a Dormammu event just because I already got one. I figured I'd try to win one for Jim because he doesn't go to these things. Anyways,
I hate the competition. It makes me squeamish.
So I didn't realize that it's a super casual venue. So I was like, I'm going to bring like a casual team, and they were playing all like die-hard, hardcore stuff. And I was like, oh, that was neat.
What was your casual team? Describe it to us.
Okay, so
I want to see your version of casual.
I left all of my cards at the house except for 2. I had Dreadpool's card and I had Eclipse's card. So I put Eclipse on Dreadpool. That was that. And then the rest was I bought a booster of Elseworlds. Well, that was the event. Was buy a booster of Elseworlds and build a team off of that. So I had 1 booster of Elseworlds, Dreadpool, and Eclipso. And like Dreadpool's good. I didn't even have a transport. Like I managed to pull one because Elseworlds has like 6 Green Lanterns, so like it kind of worked. But Dreadpool needs more support than that. It didn't go very well.
Emotional support.
Yeah. So I ended up going 2-1. I got 2nd place. And the game I lost.
Will you be quiet?
So at the Dormammu event, I went 2-1 with my Dreadpool team, which I was kind of surprised about because like I'd never played Dreadpool. I literally got him in the mail is the only reason I had his card. Because I had a trade finish, grabbed that box, put it in the truck, grabbed my box of clicks, left my binder full of cards on the table. Vega went with me, so we were like super far behind. We got to the event like 30 minutes late, so everyone was already pissed off, and I was like, I don't have a team anymore. So
were they really pissed off?
They weren't like pissed, but they're kind of looking at me like, really? But
were they specifically waiting for you, or
yes,
just like
they're specifically waiting? I messaged Ron, the event organizer, and I was like, hey, we're running late. I'm sorry.
I would have been like, yeah, I'm sorry.
But oh well. So I got 2nd. Vega, he thought we were opening What If because that's what the Facebook page said, but I guess there was a change that I missed. So we ended up playing Elseworlds, and he had built a bunch of soldiers anticipating pulling soldiers from What If or he had another keyword too that was common in What If, but either way, he didn't get the theme team, and the team he had built was kind of about going first and getting map choice, so he kind of got screwed. So after the Dormammu event, I went to the Win a Map that I talked about a little bit. I played my Jakeem team, and I got second place in that one as well. And that was pretty close. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I lost to Caesar. He was playing a Nick Fury slingshot, which was annoying, and I forgot that barrier was a power, so I just lost. But it was actually super close. I actually won it. I would have won it because I KO'd his green arrow call-in. I could have just gone to the corner of the map, used barrier for 20 minutes and won, but that's not fun. So I was going for the big win and tried to take out Nick Fury, and he made all the shape change rolls. It was just terrible.
I hate when that happens.
Like, I called in my Fury to shoot his Fury. I was amped up to 6 damage. I needed like a 6 to hit, and I was like, okay, this shouldn't be too bad. I've got 3 prob controls on this team. I will hit this 6. He's like, okay, shape change. There's a 6. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna target no one because I can't see anyone else. Nick Fury couldn't see anyone else, and that blew my mind. So I just wasted my Nick Fury call in, and then my last turn of the game, which I didn't realize was my last turn, or I wouldn't have done it. I charged with Doctor Strange because he was on the Charge Blades exploit click. And I was like, okay, Superman's only got like 2 clicks left. I just charge in, I hit, KO, done. Superman had shape change. I was like, why does Superman have shape change? That's not even a thing. But apparently, the shifting focus, one of the Supermen on shifting focus has shape change.
He turns into Clark Kent.
Yeah, and he stuck it. And I was like...
Put on a pair of glasses and fooled you.
It's like, I'm freaking Doctor Strange, and I can't even figure out that Clark Kent is Superman. Like, what the heck is going on? So, then... I'm still ahead in points. It's his last turn. Nick Fury doesn't do penetrating. I've got Eclipso on Strange, so like at most Fury's going to deal 1 damage, which he does. Knocks me to my last click. You can see the little KO strip. So he pushes Superman onto Superman's last click and hits me, or no, second to last click. He hits me, KOs me, takes the Mystic Click, goes to his last click. It's like, okay, cool. Fury and Superman on their last click, and then the judge called last action. And I was like, Jakeem had no action tokens, was in range to running shot Pulse Wave, get the double KO, and they called last action. And I just, okay. But, I mean, Caesar played really well. He totally earned that win. I made a couple play mistakes. He made the shape change rolls. That's the way the dice go. So he won. He got a map. He's only been playing for like a month and a half, so it was super neat seeing him win an ROC event. And I got second, so I'm not really complaining.
That is super cool.
And Caesar's just a nice guy in general. I like playing against him. Then the event after that is when I won the Invisible Plane. That was 200 Elseworlds, 200 sealed from Elseworlds. I brought 25 point the Ray at 25 points. I know how to talk. I brought the Ray at 25 points.
Who's a great figure, by the way.
At 25 points is amazing.
He's great in the other one too because he's got the Justice League keyword.
At 25 points, it's stupid how good that piece is. But anyway, so I had the Ray, I had Al Jordan, and I had Green Arrow because I wanted to win. So that's what I did.
Was that a theme team?
No, not at all.
I don't know if Al Jordan has.
He's got like Past and Mystical and Ruler and like one named keyword.
Because they're all like kind of members of the Justice League.
Yeah. But in my booster, I ended up pulling the super rare Green Arrow that revives people, so I just threw her in the bucket because I don't like that piece. But I got a Green Lantern that can carry... I forget what it did. No, it had TK, the TK Pulse Wave one, the uncommon, that one. And some two flashes, so I had a bunch of hypersonic. I had option for 2 telekinesis with Al Jordan and Green Lantern, and then I had Green Arrow. So I just TK Green Arrow up, shoot someone for 5, TK him back, come to me, clear. I just did the yo-yo strategy that beat me at the ROC. And it worked really well. I won, so that was cool. And then I went to an Elseworlds 300 constructed event, was the last event I went to. I didn't do so good. I got 4th. I never get 4th.
4th out of how many?
8. It's like top 50%. Like normally I'm first or second, sometimes third.
Yeah.
rare. But so that was kind of lame. I went 2-2. My first game was against a guy who won the entire event, and that was similar. I had the lead in points. I could have just hidden in a corner and been lame, but I like to play the game, so I went out.
It's your weakness.
Yeah, having fun is my weakness. Because it's fun for me to crush people into the ground. But he was playing, he had Chase Green Arrow and Chase Batman, and that Batman's kind of annoying.
Is it Sergeant Wayne?
No, Sergeant
just Batman.
It's the Batman, 100-point.
Isn't it like Colonel Wayne or something?
No, it's Colonel Wayne and Sergeant Kent. Those are super rares, and they're not very good. Like, they're super cool.
I like the theme.
They have a cool theme. They look cool. They have good powers and good stats, but their dials are too short. That's it. Yeah. But the Chase Batman, whenever he hits with an attack or something, he can jump back into hindering terrain within 4 spaces. So that was tough to deal with. I ended up just throwing barrier around him to make him not able to move. But I was still stuck on 400 points from the last couple of events I played, so I was thinking I had 4 actions. So I TK'd my Elijah Snow up. That was my last available action, and Elijah Snow was just sitting in the middle of his entire team. I was going to Pulse Wave, but couldn't. He missed the attack, and I was like, okay, I've got a chance. Then I missed, throughout the next 3 turns, I needed to hit 2 6s and a 7. If I hit one of those 3 attacks, I would have won. Missed every single one. So, there's only so much you can do with the dice and whatever. It's still a really fun game, really close, a lot of strategy. And it came down, because he missed 1 or 2 attack rolls, it just came down to who hit the attack roll when, and he hit it when it mattered. So that was a fun game. Then I lost to Little D, who I talked about in the first podcast. He's, I think, 13, 14, and
this kid keeps kicking your butt.
Well, I beat him the first time, but I almost didn't. And then this time he did beat me. And he's playing the Flying Batman, which I was like, oh, that's no big deal. I mean, he's got hypersonic and shape change, but like, you hit him once and he's kind of crap.
What does his figure look like? Because isn't he supposed to be like the Superman version of Batman?
Yeah, he's got like big wings. I don't know.
He doesn't have a Superman costume?
I didn't look that closely. I was too busy getting whooped on by a 14-year-old.
I was thinking it might have been like the the Krypton version of Batman that we saw a little bit from the Batman Streets of Gotham set. But that one sucked. And I was hoping this one was a reprise because he actually looked really good. This
one, he's solid, a solid dial at least. A little overcosted, I think, at 140 points. But hypersonic shape change with a 4 damage top dial with invincible is solid. But he drops the toughness after 2 damage, so he's got the old school problem of the glass jaw. But I sidestepped with Green Arrow so I could have line of fire to TK him. TK'd him forward. The turn was taking a while because I had to deal with some other stuff too on the table, trying to get line of sight because I didn't win map choice once and it sucked for me. But I forgot that I had sidestepped at the beginning, so I was going to sidestep out of the Flying Batman's range, but I had already used the sidestep, so I was at his max range, which I was like, well, I've got 5 clicks, he's got 4 damage, and he's got a perplex. I know exactly what he's doing. So of course he hypersonicked up, one-shot my Green Arrow, and then with the 1 speed he had left, he just moved just enough out of line of sight to where I could only attack him with like Al Jordan, and shape change is my downfall. I never hit him once. He took out my entire team, and I took out a Superman. That was it. Didn't go well. But I was also tired and not feeling well from the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was that. So I got first place, then I got a second place, then I got a third place, then I got a fourth place out of the last 4 events I went to. But I went 3-0, 2-1, 2-1, and then 2-2. So wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for that. Do you want to talk about anything else? You have another game in mind you might want to talk about some?
Well, just wanted to throw in a little something. There's actually an Infinity event that is happening at the end of the month at a local venue, Steve's House of Hobbies, and that is going to be it's an Infinity event on the 26th of August.
It's not even called that anymore. It's a hobby shop.
a hobby shop.
That's the new name.
It's Steve's Place.
Yeah.
So it's a local place here in Winter Haven in Florida. And whoever wins gets a ticket to Crucible, which is a super big gaming convention if nobody knows. Or if anybody, doesn't know.
I mean, yeah, we've drawn people from other states for Crucible, so, like...
It's a big one.
Yeah.
They've got an Infinity presence, and whoever wins the event gets a free 3-day pass.
Yeah. And over those 3 days, you'll see Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Infinity, War Machine Hordes. I don't think they do Heroclix. I can't do anything in October because I got other things going on, but if I was free, I could probably organize a Heroclix event. I know the tournament organizer very well. He'd be cool with it. So maybe the next one I'll try to do that and see if we can't get something going for Heroclix. But either way, it's an awesome 3-day gaming convention here in Orlando, and Jimmy is going to try to go win a 3-day pass, and Jimmy doesn't try to win things very often, so it should be good.
It's true.
Usually when he does try, though, he usually does win. So I wish Jimmy would try to be competitive more because he's actually really good at these games.
I don't like being competitive.
You win.
But it makes me feel bad. I don't know. So, one other thing though. We are currently, as of recording this video, at 44 subscribers on the channel. If you didn't watch the other video, we're doing a t-shirt giveaway at 50 subscribers. I know it's a small milestone, but it is this t-shirt, our Dimension Shift Studios t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's actually Dimension Shift Games, a sect of Dimension Shift Studios.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing 5 t-shirts given away to subscribers, and that is going to be to people who comment on our 50 subscriber milestone video, which will be coming out shortly after hitting 50 subscribers. So, 6 more to go. That's realistic. So these small goals in the beginning.
Yeah.
But...
And then maybe when we hit 100, I can give away a Brohammer shirt.
True.
That would be cool.
This is our local group.
Yeah.
Brohammer. It's for the Warhammer, Games Workshop guys.
We're kind of branching out too, because we've got the Brofinity group that's a little bit separate, but started with the same roots. I'm working on a Heroclix group. I haven't come up with a cool bro name for that yet.
Heroclix.
Nothing fits. But either way, it's our, gaming club in Florida. And we've got a store here in Lakeland called Tabletop Glory that sponsors us. They're pretty cool there too. We've got actually X-Wing. He's going to start doing X-Wing events. And
really?
Yeah. Armada events. He doesn't hold Heroclix yet, which is weird, but I've got 5 stores locally to play Heroclix at, so I'm not that worried about it. And by locally, I mean within an hour. What other games? Flames of War. Is that the new one?
I don't think it's new. It's been around for a while, but it is a World War II based game, and I think it branches out a little bit in its origins, but you play actual military forces of tanks and gunners and all that kind of stuff from different countries. What I appreciate about that game is it's like Bolt Action and Flames of War are kind of in the same tier. Bolt Action is supposed to be better as far as rules and then starting price, apparently. That wasn't what I had seen in my experience. It looked like Bolt Action is more expensive per model, but maybe Flames of War requires more models.
I have no idea. I know we've got some dude in, I think, Tampa who's like a world champion for Flames of War. He's going to be coming down to teach people how to play, so I might go and learn.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a podcast or a vlog of going and checking out that game. But what I appreciated about that game is, for some reason, I have absolutely no ties to France or anything, but in every game that I play that involves different countries fighting one another, like Infinity, World of Tanks, and then even games like this, I'm always most interested in France. No idea why. There's no reason for it. And they have a giant French presence. So the other game, it's like a tiny pamphlet of a book where it's like, play France or these other really vague small countries, and there's 10 tanks. This one has 293 units for the French. And it's just granted they have 800 units for the United States, but it's
America,
still...
do you expect different?
Yeah. So there's a lot of options, and I thought that was cool. Also, their prices seem really good based on their web store prices. You get like, instead of 1 tank for like $35, it's literally a lot of 3 tanks for like $24. So I was just like, how is this supposed to be more expensive than bolt action? I have no idea. So
one thing I like too is the pieces come pre-painted and the terrain looks really cool.
Do they actually come pre-painted?
Yeah.
What the frick?
Yeah.
Why does anybody play bolt action?
So it's not bolt action, it's Flames of War.
I mean, why does anybody play bolt action when you have Flames of War?
But you know the, what was that game? The Steam game we played, Mountain Blade.
Yeah.
You remember the sand huts with like the flat top and they got the stairs going up?
Yeah.
They got like a whole terrain line that looks like that already painted. It's amazing. But
is
like,
it like
it's
good price?
I don't even remember the price, but it's smaller stuff. Like this scale is smaller than the Warhammer Heroclix scale. Like the buildings are only 2 to 3 inches tall, but still.
That's probably why it's less expensive.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
It looked really well. Bolt action is small models too. It's a smaller scale.
It's a little smaller than Warhammer, but it's not like 3-inch buildings.
Yeah.
You're still going to be running like 6 to 8 inch tall buildings most of the time, I think.
So it's a smaller scale, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes storage easier. I don't know. I'm willing to give it a try.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool. I'm interested in that type of game, but I barely ever get out to play the games that I have, so I probably won't sink any money into it.
Like, not going to any Heroclix events when I went to 4.
You know why?
I know.
That I didn't want to have to buy boosters of that set to play.
I know.
I've got too many HeroClix as it is. I want to play with the ones I got.
I know.
So.
We will. I've been hitting that too. Like I didn't go to the state championship because I just didn't feel like playing another 300-point modern game.
Yeah, I've got boxes and boxes of HeroClix. Like most of them have not seen the table. So I don't want to go to any more of these like buy a set and only play figures from these sets. I think it's got its place and that's pretty cool, but like I don't play enough to only go to those types of events.
Yeah.
But also interested in playing Infinity. It has taken forever. I have not played a match of that for a very long time. I was interested in getting some practice rounds in for this upcoming match, but nobody has been available to play, or just nobody likes me. I don't know.
It's probably the second one.
Yeah.
But I do know that the past like month and a half has been super busy for like everyone in the gaming community. Like we got back from Tennessee and it was just like
so much stuff going on. Yeah. All right. Well, is that all we wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think we might as well wrap it up now. We've rambled for a while.
We have. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching this episode of Dimension Shift Studios, NetCLIX and Chill. And we're, again, trying to get this to be kind of a weekly thing. It looks like we're most often going to be putting the videos up sometime between Thursday and Saturday. So you
probably Thursday to Sunday, because our games are on Saturdays.
Yeah, so it could come out Sunday if we are able to either, videotape it Saturday night or Sunday morning. So I know that's kind of a variable range. Maybe one day we'll get it cemented down, but it's really trying to work our schedules together for whatever's most available. So we can kind of give that range at the moment until we figure out something more concrete.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you made it this far, we appreciate it. And if not, I hate you, but you don't know that.
Very true. Well said. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.